Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Everyone is Addicted. Today's guest, Pete, has come on to share his experience and his knowledge with mental health and addictions and everything in between because he's quite an interesting fellow. So I will let him take it away. Yeah, hi, Pete. Welcome.
Well, welcome back. Thank you so much for having me, Jasmine. It's good seeing you again. I am Pete, the host of Pete vs. Anxiety, the mental health podcast. I can be seen everywhere. I'm on Spotify. Now I'm down to Pandora Radio now, guys. I can't say iHeartRadio anymore. So now I'm on Pandora. Yes, I do talk about mental health. I talk about everything. Like we talk about every topic. Like I don't think there's ever a topic I stopped covering. I know when me and Jasmine met, it was a great time. And ever since I've met you, actually, I've hosted 3 to 4 top percentile podcast hosts in their respective categories, holistic healing, and all these other different areas. It's been an adventure since the last time we've seen each other. I could tell you that
It's
much.
been a few months now, right? So yeah.
Right? Yes.
And you know what's really weird? I've actually had I know we're on the same app, so it's probably a relatively it might even be the same people, but I've actually had a lot of holistic healers lately too that I've talked to. I think that a lot of people are looking more into healing from the inside instead of taking a band-aid pill, you know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Hmm.
And I feel like that's why that's becoming much more popular. And I know when I toured with the psychic fairs, it was not as busy as it is now. And I think it's just people are looking for something different, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's more people are afraid to talk therapy. I mean, don't get me wrong, talk therapy is great for certain situations. Alternative healing is now taking over from what I'm seeing, with so many different options out there nowadays.
Mm.
You could do different things that, fit differently into people's lives, and I think that's great because every time you meet one of these people, you get different different experiences with each one. Like some do the tarot card readings. I have a good friend that she does oracle card readings and things like that too, which are interesting because we've done it several times on the show where they have been reading my oracle reading and things like that. I've done astrology, which that was an interesting time, because this woman I've never met is telling me things about myself that I have never told anybody, and she's like reading your star chart. She's telling you, okay, well, this is the house and this is what this represents. And we go greatly into detail. So like I said, I cover mental health, but I cover other aspects of mental health with
But
it too, though. I think it's fun.
it's still healing too, right? Because I
Hmm.
find understanding oneself is a way to learn how to start healing,
Yeah,
right? And I've
exactly.
always that's the one part of divination I'm not the greatest at is astrology, and I've always wanted to get my astrology chart done. Like, mind you,
Oh, I
like
got a
I
person for you.
yeah, better let me know later. But yeah, because like I can tie astrology into tarot reading, right? Because
Hmm.
I that's my area expertise, but that's the only thing I know how to do with astrology is just tying it in with the tarot cards. But it doesn't really play a huge part in the tarot reading. It just kind of helps with like understanding like for instance like I'm an Aries, so when I pull cards I get wands more often because wands represent Aries, right? Or
Hmm.
like the major arcana ones, there's certain ones like the Emperor, he is all Aries, right? So those cards will come up more often for me because of my astrology sign. And I also
It's funny you say Aries though, because if you go deep into your star chart, like I am, my birth chart, I'm actually an Aries moon. So a lot of the things I do make sense because with Aries, like I've always wondered why the ability was I could just cut people off instantly. Well, during the reading, we were talking about it. She said, "Oh, well, you're an Aries moon. You know what that means?" She means that means you just that's it. You're done with people. When you're done, you're done. You don't waste time and any of that other shit. And I was like, oh, this is fascinating. No, but the interesting part is when we got to, I think the 10th house is where it was, we started talking more about like how I have this uncanny ability that people I meet will just start telling me things that they've never told anybody before. And these are people I walk up to me in person and tell me a lot of times. I
yeah.
always thought it was very strange how this happened, but this woman's reading this chart to me, and she's like, "Yeah, did you know podcasting was already in your star signs already too?" And I was like, "Really? This is weird. Okay, hold on."
That
You know,
is because that's not like, you know, when you think back like 30 years ago, that, you know, but like when we were still alive, you know what I
hmm
mean? Podcasting didn't exist. So that's so
exactly.
interesting. That's so interesting. It's funny you say that with Aries being able to cut people off because any relationship I've ended, it's like, okay, bye. When I'm done, I'm
Exactly.
done. It's so funny that you say that. Even with like, I have a child with somebody and I like have sole custody, don't see him, don't talk to him. Goodbye. He's
Right.
got
Yeah.
he's got drug addiction issues, which is why I don't speak to him, but it was very I'm just I don't know. I feel like I am very empathetic and other times I'm not. It just depends on the situation. And with every sign there's like two parts to it. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. It
And
gets deep.
yeah, and I guys I said I don't know too much about it, but like I would love to get my chart done. So that is so cool. And even it does like I say like help with healing. The thing with the cards is they do become addictive to people because people want answers to life's questions all the time. And even when I first started doing it when I was like 13, I'd read my cards every single day. And then it kind of takes the mystery out of life and I would become I became so dependent on it that like if it told me that I was going to have a bad day, I would already think that I was going to have a bad day. So even if they weren't correct, it was just already
Yeah.
in my head that I was going to have a bad day. So it just, I had to stop. Well, also, other people aren't supposed to play with your cards, and my mom had played with my cards. So I stopped for a large chunk of my life because I was an addict. And my mom had played with my cards, so I couldn't use them anymore. Then I got into alcohol and didn't care, right?
Yeah.
And then that was the thing that kind of helped me when I got sober was I started that business because I was like, well, this is something that I find could help people and that'll make me maybe help me fix myself, focus myself into something else, channel my energy into that instead of the victim mentality that a lot of people have when they first get
Hmm.
sober and they're just angry at everybody and everything until they get past that aspect. I never went through that part of it because I hate people who like to play the victim because that's what my mom does. So
Yeah.
I'm very anti-victim. I will accept it. Even my bully when I got bullied in high school,
God,
I
yes.
I bullied people for a couple of years. I was bullied when I was little, and then I had 2 years of school where people liked me. So then I started bullying people. So then when I got bullied in high school, I'm like, I deserve this for what I did to other people. This is my karma, right? So I just took my lumps, I guess you could say, and didn't I didn't sit there and go, oh, woe is me, I'm bullied. I'm was more like
Yeah.
I deserve this because I was an asshole.
See, the funny thing is, I got bullied in high school to the point where people were telling people that I had a hit list in my locker, and you're probably the only second person I'm telling this story to that he knows this about me. But, it was like, I never bullied anybody though, because you got to keep in mind though, I have siblings, but I didn't live with my siblings. I was alone by myself for a large majority of my childhood. When my mom abandoned me when I was 10, from there it was I spent a lot of solidarity time by myself. Like it was me by myself because my dad was always at work, and then whatever girlfriend was there for whatever the flavor of the month was, which was this
Yeah.
one woman we were with for a little while that he eventually cheated on. But I spent a lot of time on myself, so like I'm the adult for my own self. So like I'm basically left alone to do whatever I want, and things like that too. I spent a lot of time. So when I got to high school, I was very socially awkward because I wasn't used to being around a lot of people. Like I kept moving different cities. Like I went to junior high in one city, then I left and went to freshman year in another city, and then my sophomore to my senior years where I actually had some stability, where I started making some friends. But before, when I got to that point, there's these guys that were picking on me and were just giving me a hard time. And then I ended up, I don't even remember what I said exactly. I said something to him that was out of off color about his mom or something. And apparently this kid's mom is dead. So then everybody was like, I kept getting threatened to get my ass kicked by people, things like I was
Oh,
just getting threatened to beat up and all this other shit.
I
And then they
got to
started going
be.
telling people I had a list letter. Like, oh yeah, did you know Pete has a list in his locker and things like that? So I got pulled into the principal's office and they were telling me this shit. I was like, oh God, here we go, bro. So it was fucking high school sucked, man. Like I
Oh
made
yeah.
some great friends out of it, but at the end of the day, it fucking sucked.
I had one friend because nobody wanted to hang out with me because they would get bullied too. And I mean, I got bullied extreme. Like they held
Yeah.
me down and and let other people beat me up. They'd throw garbage
Ugh,
at me. They'd like spit on me. They'd throw water balloons in my face. They'd sing songs about me, write on my locker, scream names at me. I ended up having to switch schools because when
Jesus,
I
yeah.
I got beat up one time, there's blood. The girl had rings on like me on every finger because she had planned this, right? And anyway, her friends were standing on my arms and legs while she was punching me in the face. I go to the principal, and even my mom comes in, which is surprising for her because she told me I deserved to get beat up. But she still came in to look like a good mom. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And the
yeah.
principal's like, "Oh, that didn't happen. Those are good girls. They wouldn't do that to you."
Yeah, that bullshit story, yeah.
So then afterwards, me and another girl who got picked, I just I said I had one friend that also got picked up by them. We would go every single time they said something to us, anything even little, and go and tell the principal over and over and over again. And the principal, when we switched schools, was like, I think that's a good idea because he was sick of listening to us go on and on and on about these girls. But it's like, just like you, it's like we're not doing anything. These people are saying shit, and then now
Hmm.
look, we're the bad guys somehow. Like, thank you. Like,
It's still pretty fucking bad in schools these days now because
well, now
my
they got the
daughters, when they
internet.
lived with me, they were like, well, the internet too. Okay, so let's
We
add in the
didn't have
internet.
that
Okay,
really when I was
we had, what was it for us? We had
MSN.
AOL.
We had MSN. That's what I
Yep,
had.
MSN, AOL were your two big
Yeah,
ways to get at somebody. Then you get in these chat rooms where you're interacting with people you're not even sure who the hell is what age.
and yeah, and you could
Used to the age, sex, location thing, and
you could also hit that button and it was like a randomizer and it would like go through and then
hmm.
some random person would come up super freaking dangerous. But
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like we didn't realize what we were getting into now. So if we go fast forward to now, where now you have Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, all these other things, it's become a bigger problem now because now you can attack people more often and easier. You know what I mean? And Whiskey and I were talking about this. He and I were talking about the suicide rates in young men. He was like,
he
well,
knows
it
his
went up
shit with that.
20%. He said when it was introduced, the rate shot up to 20% in young men. I was just like, that's crazy
That's
though, because it's like, think about it. Like, you're on the internet, but you don't realize that now these people can now cyberbully you too, on top of
every
picking on
angle.
you.
They
Mm-hmm.
can make things and post it on their things. They can come at you through
Mm-hmm.
messages. Like it can be really bad. And the fact that now people have video phones, if you're at a party and you do something stupid, they have that on video. They're gonna put
Mm-hmm.
that on YouTube, on Facebook, and just plaster it and add
Well,
memes to it. Like,
it's
oh
it's funny you
God,
say that too, because think about it. Once you put it on the internet, it's there. Somebody can find that video all these years down the road, and they're like, "Well, hey, Jasmine, check out this video I found, and it's some embarrassing shit that happened." And you're like, great, this video still exists, and I think that a lot of people, especially with the Charlie Kirk thing now, are learning
hmm
that, oh, maybe you should read some of the things that you sign, because a lot of employers have that little clause in their handbooks that say, if you start posting wild shit on the internet, basically, that they could fire you in cut ways because they don't want any part of this. So you're over here celebrating someone's death, now you're adding in the element of, now you're teaching these younger kids that it's okay to celebrate
do
somebody's
that.
death. If you don't like somebody, go and take them out because you don't like them, and it's like, really, what the hell are you teaching these younger kids, especially a lot of these younger kids around 14 that are starting to really get influenced by the internet, and then girls on the other side, are seeing all these, oh, this girl's so pretty, all these guys are drooling over, I want to be a Instagram girl, and all these, like, you want to do all these things, but I don't think you think of the other side of the aspect of what these people deal with on a regular basis,
Well,
like the
hmm
wild ass messages.
Well, like even like my daughter, for instance,
Mm-hmm.
she doesn't put them on the internet, but she makes videos because she sees the YouTuber girls and she
Mm-hmm.
has to be a cheerleader and she has to have certain clothes and she's 8. And I'm thinking to myself, like, oh no, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
she knows there's filters and that's body dysmorphia 101 is you see girl and you're gonna be envious when you're that age. And I remember being younger and being tiny and having boys like talk about me being flat chested and it just being
Oh
really
no.
hard to deal with. But now you
Yeah.
see this on Instagram and YouTube, and you can make yourself look however you want. You think to yourself, well, why can't I look like that? And at
Yeah.
least I didn't have that, because that I worry about what's gonna happen with her because of, like, she looks like me and she's small, and I'm like, well, ooh, and I also
You know,
just
you're right though to worry about it though, because think about it. All these people, when she starts posting these things, now you have to worry about the comment section. Now these comments just get nastier, nastier. And and take for example the girl who was doing the cosplay thing. I think she was African American if I remember right, but she
she's
like
gone
she's popular.
now.
Yeah, the girl with with the Naruto, she dressed up like the
Yeah,
girl, one of the girls in Naruto, and everybody was arguing whether or not what the nationality of the person is. Like, what does it matter? Like the cosplay was amazing. She did really great.
I know.
And then all these people are threatening to kill her, and it's like, you're mad because of what? I don't understand what you're so triggered about. Why are you doing this to this poor girl? You're attacking her. Not to mention you're completely just traumatizing this poor woman because all she did was like, "Hey guys, check out my cosplay. What do you think?" And then these people decide to come in and just be complete assholes for no reason. It's scary, man, where this internet is going. And then
Yeah.
when you look on the other side of it, Facebook's like, "Well, I got to go police my own shit now." Yeah, get your ass on there and police it. Like, like you have to go on there and handle these things. And funny thing is that Facebook owns Instagram, and then they're like, "Oh, we got to police that too." Yeah, look at what you're putting out there. There's a false image to these younger girls of like, "Hey, listen, you have to be so pretty so the boys like me. If not, they're not going to notice me. Have half your body hanging out of your clothes because
Mhm.
we as men don't know how to act like normal people. We act like animals, and it's I'm coming from a girl dad. Like, imagine I had to have this conversation with my older daughter, and I went through with her going through her period and things like that too. So, like,
See, I
I'm
haven't
not
gone that
familiar with a
far
lot of this
yet.
stuff. Girl, I went through all that shit. Listen, I
We're
had to learn
we're
things
good
real
for
quick
it.
as a girl dad, and I'm like, oh God, I don't know what to do in these situations. I don't know. Luckily, I had family that were close by that could help me, but I was like, I went through the whole thing. Like, I learned all new things from the other
My
side of the
friend's
picture, so
going
now I
through that.
know.
My friend's daughter just got her period, and he's a single dad, and he's just going through
Yeah.
it now. And she has meltdowns, and he's like, I don't know what to do. But with going on with what you're saying with the policing thing, even like I
Hmm.
had a guest is one of when I first started. So I was doing mostly local people. This is
Hmm.
what got me out of doing local people was it was a transgender person, but their
Yeah.
story was about their mother and their mother's addiction, right? And everybody I posted like on a local, like, what's happening Brantford, which is where we live,
Yeah.
the episode, and everybody was, all they cared about was this person was transgendered, and they said the most hurtful, horrible things. And then I have to go back because I posted it, and I'm like putting this person through hell because these people are, oh, like, it's not even about
Yeah.
their sexuality. It was about their mom.
Well,
And what I did was I took it and I put it on the TV show, so nobody, all those people that hated on it had to watch it and could not comment. And that was my way of getting them back. But
I
I
just think
felt
that's
so
so
bad.
funny though when you talk about the transgender community though. It's just like it's so fucked up because what is it person's name? That Lily Tino person went around posting all these fucked up videos about, oh, I'm gonna turn my hot dog into something else. I'm like, what the hell is wrong with you, dude? You're in Disneyland, Disney World, wherever you're at, you're talking about this in a child's amusement park like it's okay, then wonder why people are backlashing.
Yeah,
It's
like,
like,
it's
get the hell
totally
out
up.
of here.
Yeah, that's where it's so like opposite, like, because I come from a small town, so everybody's like,
Yeah.
oh, you're transgender. But like, realistically, she wasn't talking about it at all, or like saying, oh, I cut off my hot dog or whatever, you know
Yeah,
what I
you know what I
mean,
mean?
the
Yeah,
child
yeah,
thing. But like, that is the crazy part about the internet. You really, people can really say and do anything,
yeah.
and
It's
it's
it's fucking
it's
pathetic. It really
it's
is. It really
sad, and
sad.
it scares me with my children because like they are 5 and 8, so like I don't even want to know what it's gonna look like for them, which all of that leads to addiction because it's all trauma coming at
Hmm.
you, affecting your mental health, and you don't know how to cope, and you want to be cool, so you go hang out with the crowd that's doing the drugs and partying,
Yeah,
and then
because you
you
want to
get
fit
into,
in. Yeah, that
and then
FOMO, fear of missing out. Yeah, yep,
and
you're
then
right.
your mental health and your trauma takes over, and you end up becoming addicted where your friends don't because they don't have that background, and that's how that happens because that's what happened to me. you
Yeah,
know
yeah. So you have a son, right? And he's the younger one of the two. Do
yeah,
you worry about? Let me ask you a question. Though. Do you worry about what's going to happen later on with him, especially given the rates of suicide are 80% males?
with
Is that a
him.
big lingering fear in the back of your mind, like having this conversation when he's old enough to start talking about his mental health? I think that it may benefit him though to
I
start.
I think that I actually, now that you say that, I worry a bit because his father has mental health issues in that
Yeah,
area and has, maybe if I think back to it, said these things in front of him, like I'm going to
yeah,
kill
yeah.
myself and things like that, which I don't want to say about him because it's bad to say and I shouldn't say that, but it's the truth.
No,
And
I
so
mean
like
it's not
my
wrong to
son
talk about it though.
my son has heard, I've said it too. You know what I mean? I've said
Yeah,
it too, out of being just upset in really bad situations and I
yeah,
forgetting that they're in the room. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
he's already heard these things. So thinking about it now, yeah, I worry about it hard because he's also more like me. My daughter is very social. My son is very loner. Like I'm an only
yeah,
child. I was like you. I was very socially awkward. He's not necessarily socially awkward, but he likes to be alone. I
yeah.
like
No, I
to
agree.
be alone, and I didn't have many friends. And like I was very similar, where I was shy. I didn't like talking to people. I have agoraphobia, so I would like hide from people. He's starting to do that more and more. Like we just moved somewhere. There's two little boys that are his age, and they're really friendly. And I'm like, Oliver, do you want to go outside and say hi to the neighbors? They're outside. They petting the dog. Do you want to come out? No, no. So I'm like, oh crap, you're gonna end up like me. Oh crap. My daughter, she's really social, which worries me in a different way because I feel like
Yeah.
she's gonna turn out to be one of the girls that is like one of those girls, the popular bitchy ones that hurt somebody else because
Think
she
she's
is
gonna be
our
the queen bee of the group?
she already's gotten herself in some situations that at school that
Uh-oh.
because of that mentality. Or even we were at my friend's house, the one I was just talking about with his daughter for my mom's birthday. My mom lives in their granny suite and he has two daughters, and the older one and my daughter were fighting over the phone with the littler one. And my daughter, I never seen her do this before, just starts screaming at her like, Layla, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, Gemma, we told you we would deal with this issue after we had birthday cake. And
Right?
she's screaming
Eat the
at her.
goddamn cake! I can
Yeah,
just
she's
see it
screaming
now.
at her. I'm like, oh my gosh, who taught you to talk to people like that? So then that's where I see her being the
Yeah.
one that's more of an aggressor in negative situations, and she's going to be the one that puts a lot of emphasis on being like you said, like the queen bee, or in that
Yeah.
group of people, where my son is going to be more like me, where he hangs out by himself and hides in
Hmm.
the library, or like even at home he keeps to himself. I mean, he has a few friends. I've got to switch him schools because we moved, and they're going to end up going to my old school because we moved to my old
Uh-oh.
hometown.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Because when I went to a school where my brother had gone through ahead of me, I just have to hear about it every day. We had this history teacher, man. I didn't know this about him until later on that he had something happen where he was a real big germaphobe, I guess, because he had a really bad infection that happened. So like he'd have this routine. My brother's like, okay, so when you get in the room, watch him what he does. He'll wipe his counter down, wipe his desk off, wipe his hands off, clean his hands multiple times. And here he goes. He's doing the same process. And then he's reading down the roster and he sees your last name and he's like, "Oh, listen, is your brother, Travis?" I'm like, "Fuck, I'm in trouble already." Yeah. He goes, "Are you going to be a pain in the ass like him too?" No, I don't. What do you mean? What?
My children luckily do not have the same last name as me, so
Yeah.
they won't catch that. But I think it'll be better, to be honest, because where we were living in the other city, um, kids were like, this is a different kind of town. It's very small. It's very like
Yeah.
sheltered, so to speak, and like Brantford is full of drugs and people shooting
Yeah,
up in the
same thing here.
street. The kids, that basically half the reason why we were happy to move was because the kids across the street, there was a huge group of them about my daughter's age that were throwing rocks at people. They assaulted an older woman. They start fires. They break into things. One of them is accused of it. One of them's 8, and he's accused of talk bullying some girl to the point where she jumped off a bridge and killed herself. So we are glad to be away from that. So I think that in
Yeah.
that sense, they're not in that school with those specific children. They're they're in a different area where things aren't as negative and there's not as much drugs right in your face. But I mean, they've already been exposed to it, and so it's not like you can take that back, right? And
Yeah.
but at least
Yeah, but you could use it as a teaching moment of,
yeah,
that's why, when I always close out the show, we say it costs nothing to be kind to somebody because, you don't think about it. Everyday interactions with people, like you could make somebody's day or even save their life. And people just think it's a kind of a corny thing, but it really is not. Think about it. You interact with people on a daily basis. I work in a customer service setting now. Like, there's some people have told me some wild stories, man, that, I just it blows your mind. But it's like you just being nice to people every single day, saying hi, hello, how are you? Eventually, you'll see the difference as these people interact. Like there's some people that wouldn't say 2 words to me. Now we have full conversations, and all it was is just being nice to them every single day, just being polite. Hey, how you doing? How are you? How are you? Or complimenting them. Hey, listen, I like your shirt. All these corny things you could think of that you think, oh, these are stupid. You could make somebody's day right there.
yeah.
For you don't know what anybody is thinking. And I think there's a great video that just came out. It was these two soccer fans, okay? So they're sitting side by side. And I remember seeing the original video and thinking the guy on the left, who's always like looks really bothered and upset, is the one that's going to not make it through this video. But it turned out the guy on the right, if you're looking at the screen, the guy on the right, he's sitting there, he's all excited and happy and everything else. And it comes down to like, you don't know what people are thinking. It doesn't matter. You have fame, wealth, other stuff. We recently lost a guy on the Ellen show. Guy had money, had family, and everything else, and he unfortunately decided to take his life. And it's just like I don't think people realize these everyday interactions how detrimental
Yeah.
they could be to people, especially with the things you say to people. And I always taught my girls, I'm like, listen, remember the last thing you say to somebody, because that could be the last thing you ever tell them. Because what if they went home and whatever you said to them was the last thing that caused them to jump off the edge or do whatever they're going to do? They already had a plan and you just pushed them to go even further. And they're like, well, fucking, no one cares about me. Here we go. And then just, it's crazy though. It's like we don't think about how the everyday interactions of what we're doing now. And then you added the internet, which is even worse. And, now with the young men as well, like Whiskey and I were talking about, it was just like, it's
Well,
just crazy though. All the different influences that just keep coming in.
the people that I did bully for those 2 years, a lot of them were boys actually. And I went back and apologized to them for what I had done and said when I was getting it in high school
Yeah.
because I realized how I had made them feel. And
Yeah.
I think that even just being conscious of that, now that I look back from just listening to what you said, like that probably helped them to know that I apologized. I realized what I had done because
Yeah.
one's a woman, and I talk to her on a weekly basis now, and she and I are friends. And she said, "Oh, I didn't know you were bullied. I thought that you had so many friends." And I'm like, "No,
Yeah.
I was getting bullied, and that's why I was bullying you." And
Yeah.
we like worked it out and like had this really deep conversation about it. And it's like like she had no idea what was going on with me, and she just saw I was I had a lot of friends. I had no friends, so it was just so interesting to see what other people's view of you is. And so like
Hmm.
what within apologizing to her and being like, like I should never ever done that, you know what I mean? And I basically like said like I know how it feels. I'm so sorry. Like, I wish I
Yeah.
had never done it and all that kind of stuff. And she was like, thank you. But she's like, I just thought you were somebody totally different than you were. So interesting. And then also when I was reading cards, one of the girls that beat me up in high school sat down on my chair and we talked, and she apologized for how she treated me, which helped me a lot with my agoraphobic issues because that's why I have agoraphobia is
Yeah.
from being bullied. And it helped me a lot with not I'm not afraid of people anymore. Like it took that fear I had of talking to people and that I don't know and stuff like that away. It really like just released a lot of the past from her saying that to me too, right? So it's like you're so right. It's just that one interaction can go this way or that way. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And that is what I worry about with my daughter. With my son, I just I just hope that or I just have to be more conscious about how I am when I'm upset and what I say because I now thinking about what whiskey and I talked about that too, right? And I it's so true, and I know he's a loner, so I really have to pay more attention to what he really is taking in because when they're that age they sponge it up, right? So I have
Yeah.
to really watch my words because now it really like actually having this dialogue and thinking about it within like I never really thought about it before, but he's going to end up like me and he's going to have those social issues that I had, and he's going to be afraid of people because he is isolated himself. And I have to. He doesn't even want to play sports. Like I mean, I offer anything you want, and he won't doesn't want to do it. So I've got to. I think find new ways to try to get him more socialized. Like
Yeah.
luckily we have a friend. He goes, well, he's not going to be going to school with anymore, but his mom, she was very shy, and we over the 5 years of my kids going to school eventually started talking. I broke her by saying hi every day, like you said, right?
Yeah.
And we started talking. And her son is a few older years older than my son, and my he's a year older than my daughter, and they're best friends. But he protects them. Like yesterday with that whole bus thing I told you about,
Hmm.
he took punches because the kid wanted to hit my kids and he stood in front of them and took punches.
Yeah.
And like that's not going to be every kid, so my kids got to like realize, you've got to be able to handle these really negative scary situations even when you're 5. Like last year we had to call the principal because grade 8s were dumping yogurt down my 4-year-old's back and on the bus. Like it's always on the bus for some reason. It's the bus. But
Well, because think about it, because the bus is the most, it's just the bus driver on there half the time, and they're one yelling at you, oh, stop hitting each other, this and that, da 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 da.
yeah.
And now they've got cameras on most of the buses here that they can watch the video and see what they're doing and things like that. And that was something new because we used to have a lot of incidents on the bus too, and things like that because that was the spot where no one could get to you. It's just you and the bus driver, and then it's your word against the bus driver. Now there's video. Now it's your word against the bus driver and the video. Oh, that's not me on the video, but then who is that right there doing these acts? You know what I mean? Like I didn't do that. Like, well, here's the video. What do you think? I mean, like you can't get away with this crap that you used to do, and and it seems like harmless pranks to these younger kids, but it's like you're really just
Not.
messing them up for later on because then they're just getting picked on, and everybody's like, "Oh, there goes the weird kid," and all those kind
I
of,
was the stinky kid, so I know exactly what you mean.
"Oh no, damn it, Jasmine, it's the smelly kid in class. Damn it, here we go."
Well, my mom put tea tree oil in my hair so I wouldn't get lice. Right?
Oh, okay,
I had
yeah,
really,
yeah.
really long hair, so she'd put tea tree oil, but just straight tea tree oil, so I smelled like tea tree oil. So
Oh,
everybody
okay, yeah.
called me the stinky kid because I smelled like tea tree oil, and everybody said that that smell was so awful that I was the just coined the stinky kid in elementary school,
I
right?
think
So
of what is it, Big Daddy when he tells him that he goes, "What? I have the stinky kid in class." I'll just that shit cracks me up. I was like,
uh,
"What?"
I always say that was me. I was the stinky kid.
All right, you jump in the theater. It's me right there. It's me. Hey, everybody, stinky kid here. Ha! See, the other thing too, though, with your son, you have to worry about is that if he plays a lot of online games,
That's what he does, and that is
Oh man, Roblox is the worst one so far. I
that's
saw
what he
something
does.
recently where somebody was talking about he was finding these predators on there and then Roblox sued him. I'm like, wait, you're suing this guy for calling out these people that are preying on your children? I'm like, I don't get it. Like, why is that okay for you to not say something like, and then if
Yeah.
you get into these interactions with kids, like recently we had an interaction. My wife is not a big gamer, but she plays a lot because of me now. I got her addicted to Overwatch 2, so she got on and this kid and her were playing and this younger kid, I don't know what his age was exactly, but this guy was bullying him. And she texted me and she's like, "Oh my God, this kid was getting picked on." And I said, "Okay, send me the screen name of the guy." I sent this guy a message, said, "So I heard you like to pick on little kids and make you feel good about yourself." Like, I didn't really bully him, but I confronted him about it.
Roughed
And he
him
was
up a
like,
little bit. Yeah.
I kind of said something. I was like, "Yeah, listen, man, there's no need to talk to little kids like that. Do you understand the things that you're telling this kid? He sucks. Tell him to go kill himself. Told him to go kill himself. I'm like, you're telling a
Yep.
young kid to go off
Oh yeah.
himself because you're playing a goddamn game. Like, get over yourself, bro. Like, don't get me wrong. I could speak from experience. Like, listen, Call of Duty lobbies were terrible for
I
anybody that we involved in
remember.
those. We said some horrible shit. My wife's like, "Why do you
Mhm.
guys keep referring to Call of Duty lobby?" I'm like, you just had to be there to hear the things that got said. Like,
I went on there once for my boyfriend at the time was playing, and they heard a girl's voice, and
oh
I
yeah, yeah. We don't know
I
how to play
said
in those.
I said something to one of them, and they're like, "Oh, you're just on your period, you dirty vagina," and all these things, and I'm like,
Or go
"Whoa!"
make a sandwich or
I
get in
had
the kitchen, all the other fucked up
yeah,
things. Yeah, yeah,
and
it
I
gets
had
horrible.
never ever bet on one of those games before, so I was like, "Whoa!" Right? And now even with my son and with Roblox, kids do say stuff like not maybe kill yourself, but like pretty mean things to him all the
Yeah,
time, and I can hear him yelling at the tablet, and I'm like, "Why are you? If this isn't fun, don't play it." But it's not
yeah,
that. I realized it was what people were saying to him, and I'm like, all right, you have to turn that function off now
yeah.
so that he can't do that. Luckily, he can't read. So thank God for that. So I turned
The
his
scary part is
volume
like we had an incident with Minecraft when that was my daughters were huge into Minecraft. Like God,
well, he's into
when I
that
tell
one.
you these kids made me feel dumb. Like I play some pretty advanced things, but when I got into Minecraft, girl, let me tell you, I felt dumb. 5 minutes I walk away, I come back. They've got a structure erected, full building, windows, everything. And I'm just like, I'm over here still trying to figure out the mechanics, how this game works. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. Now I feel dumb and they're trying to teach me, well, Dad, you have to get this, Dad. I'm like, well, how do I get that? Like, explain it to me.
My son asked me to fix it, and I'm like, I don't know. You're the one who plays it, and you crafted
Yeah.
all of this. How do I know what?
My daughter crafted a replica castle. I think she spent like 3, 4 days on it though, but she's always been really good artistic wise. Like I kept telling her,
That's
it's like, listen, you should go draw comics or something. Maybe Marvel. Just because I'm a huge big Captain America fan and Spider Man are big ones for me. And I was like,
that's
yeah, you should go draw some Marvel comics, man. And she's like, no, Dad, I don't want to draw those things. But then she got into anime and things too, and then she was drawing some of those characters. And it's funny because two of my kids are big in anime, and the other one, she's just kind of like, okay, I'll just watch it with you just because you're watching it. I don't understand
right.
all this.
My daughter loves it, and like my son, he really likes Minecraft and Roblox,
hmm
but he likes the mechanics of it. So
hmm
I foresee him being, so I'm gonna try to get him some coding games, like because I know they have them for children.
Yeah.
Because I think that that's where he's gonna end up going because he's so into the mechanics of games or mechanics of building things, like even Legos and stuff like that, like the things he can do for his age, and he can follow the directions without being able to read and stuff. So like for me, I see him going in that direction of working with coding and
Yeah.
or even engineering something like that because he
Yeah.
likes to tinker, right? But he also likes to be alone, so that's where the coding and the like that kind of stuff he can do it by
I
himself.
think he'll find his own community though with that too, because there's a lot of people that hang out in Discords and different stuff like that, all those different social servers for people that are just like they're not really social media sites, they're more like they're different chat servers and things.
Yeah.
And so because there's so many different things. You have Discord
Well,
as well. That's where a lot of the nerdier guys hang out and a lot of people will get in and have their own little chat rooms. Like I have a Discord for my podcast that I don't hardly ever use, which I probably should use, but I'm like, a lot of people don't understand how Discord works. Like mine will tell you if I post anything anywhere, it'll notify you in this server. It'll tell you, okay, well, Pete's posted something here. you can go check it out. It's all the different places I'm at and things like that. And new episodes come out, drops out to start telling you.
Yeah.
For those people that don't like the whole like MySpace and all these other things, and I don't like to interact with people, but like to kind of have their own sense of, like we can chat under whatever user handle you're using at the time, which, God, let me tell you that there's some of your children out there, you need to go look and see what their usernames are because what is it?
Oh yeah.
They have some wild ass names on these things. Like,
Well, my friend, she went through she found out something about what you can do on Roblox. So she took
mm-hmm.
her son's tablet and she went through it and she's seen all this stuff that like she didn't realize was there and he's only 10 and she lost her biscuit like nobody else.
I don't
And
blame her though because there are predators on there. They're asking your children for their addresses, and these kids don't think about
that's
it.
what
What
it
if they think,
means.
"Oh, I'm talking to a kid in another state. Hey, I'm from da 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 da," and I'm like, yeah, don't do that. Like, if you give out, I tell my wife the same thing. I was like, if you give any answers, very vague answers to where you're
What
at.
I tell my children, you don't tell them your name, you don't tell them your age, and you don't tell them where you live. Because my mom caught my daughter and
Oh
the
no,
friend my daughter and the friend who she lives with's daughter on his phone, so there was no parental discretion stuff put on it. And
yikes!
she overheard somebody asking them their names and their ages. And my mom
Oh
came up
no.
and grabbed the phone and gave it to like Pat, like the dad or whatever, and was like, "The girls are doing something. Like, like, nope, the girls are talking to somebody." Took it right away. And then that's now why they aren't allowed to
It's funny you say that
say
because I
that.
had an incident like that with Minecraft. A guy had wandered in the room. He was 22 from Colorado, and the reason I found this out is because I started texting him, and then when you're texting him, he's giving out all this information, and little by little, you're realizing that maybe he's not all there mentally. Like something he may have something wrong. And he doesn't understand the severity of what he's doing. He's telling these young girls, "Oh, I love you," and they're like. I'm like, these girls are 14. They don't
Yeah.
understand what that means, man. You're 22. Do you understand? This is like statutory rape levels. And I got on the phone and I just asked him simply, I said, okay, cool. I said, so now I have your address. So here's what's going to happen next. If you send them another message or anything, I promise you I'll show up at your door. That whole thing,
Matt.
but you gotta be careful not to here's a little advice for anybody that's ever run into this. Don't freak out because understand that they don't understand what's going
It
on,
could be
but they came and
somebody,
told me. Yeah, they came and told me about it though. Luckily, like most kids won't tell their parents that because a lot of times
no.
they'll freak out. It's the same thing with anything. You think about it, mental health wise, like suicide ideation. A lot of people don't tell people about it because the way you react makes a difference. Like if I told you I had suicidal thoughts a couple weeks ago, and you start looking at me from a different aspect, like whoa, hold on, like now you're just making it weirder than it has to be.
Well,
Be glad that I one came and talked to you about it. Two, I even told you about it because being a male, we don't talk about shit. Like I don't know what
no.
it's going to take for us males to start talking more about these
And
things.
I
I
know
just
so
think
many men who are trying to start support groups, but it's do great.
it is so hard because it makes no sense. What is the final straw for us to finally get this shit going? That like, hey guys, we need to start talking more. There's 80% of us dying a year. Like, how much more do you need to see there? I'm like, do we need to go to 81% for somebody to finally say, well, okay, well, 1% is too much?
Oh,
It's insane.
I it's like I always am more of an advocate for that because like I see it in like I've said before, I've only ever seen my dad cry. He's dead now, but in his 62 years,
Yeah,
I've only ever seen him cry one time, and that was when I was in a drunk driving accident. And he had lost his mom, his dad, his sister,
yeah,
friends, everything, but never seen him cry until what like only once. And like with my spouse, anything that's bothering him, I literally sit there and pull it out of him. He hates it because I won't let him go until he tells me what's bothering him because I can tell
yeah.
because of that, right? I don't want anything bad to happen because I know people who you can tell are just not quite right, but you don't think about like their suicidal ideation. And here
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
Canada, if you even mention to anybody, like see, even a friend could call the police and have this done to you. If you said that you thought about killing yourself, and not even said that you wanted to, said you thought about it, like you said last week or something, they
Hmm.
will take you and put you in a psychiatric hospital for 72 hours, no matter what,
Yeah.
under a psych hold. So you don't even want to admit these feelings, man or woman, because you get thrown in a psych ward. If you have children, your children get taken away from you. And so you hold it in, you hold it in, you hold it in, and then you do it.
What's the suicide hotline for you guys in Canada? I know Jay knows it because he mentions it all the
I
time.
know. It's I do know it. It's 1-800
He was saying it's like 1114 or something like that. I do know that. I know here in the
it's
States it's
yeah,
988.
I think it's 1-800. It's because they usually it's I don't know the numbers, right? Because it's like 1-800 um you're not alone or something
Oh,
like
okay, yeah,
so
yeah.
it's like 1-800 you're not alone, and but I don't know the numbers because I just
No,
know
I get you.
that aspect, right? But even with that, like if you tell them your name, you will go to the psychiatric hospital. You have to, like, even with that, keep it very, very anonymous no matter what.
Yeah.
And that's the shitty part about those kinds of things with mental health, is that you have to hold it in, which is terrible. But
Hmm.
how can people get a hold of you and stuff like that if they
You
want to
can
talk to you or be on your podcast or just chat about, you know, I will say he knows a lot about
yes.
podcasting and is very good at giving you tips on that as well. So how can people get a hold of you?
You can find me at Pete versus Anxiety Podcast.info. I have a link to the show, link to my merchandise, everything else. You can find me on Spotify all the way down to Pandora now. I'm available anywhere you find me. Instagram, Facebook, all this stuff. It's just Pete versus Anxiety. Reach out anytime. If you have a great story you want to tell me, I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to have you on the show, and everything like that. And don't forget to ask how your day is. Always ask how your mental health is, guys. I'm serious when I say that, because I don't think we talk about this stuff enough.
Don't. And that's, like I said, a lot it comes out of fear, right? And
Hmm.
so then just before I let you go and stuff, I have a couple of questions. What made you actually want to start doing this podcast?
It was actually my own issues I'm having now. I deal with a lot of anxiety and depression, and I've had suicidal ideation, things like that too, and that kind of stuff. It's been a healing journey since the day one I did this, and then like I said, ever since we last met, it's been interesting. Like there's so many different stories you guys could see. I have over 200 episodes on my YouTube if y'all
Just
want to go
went a
back and
year.
see.
He just had his year. Yay!
I am so excited. Yes, I thank you so much. I appreciate the well wishes too. I love that I've compiled them all into a video and everything like that too. But yeah, it's more of a healing journey for me too. It's just like I feel like we don't talk about it enough, and we obviously don't. 80% of us are going at a rate. 4 or 5 the men in the group are going to be gone due to suicide. What is going to be the pushing point for it to finally be? Hey, enough is enough. Let's start talking about these things.
And I totally agree with, like, the fact I have been going through a hard time, and by doing this podcast, I meet people like you and a lot of other people that have helped me with my own mental health and my own, like, just just looking at things through a different lens, different perspective. And they always say, "Oh, I just want to help one person," and I'm always like, "You helped me." Like, if I look back on it, every single person has helped me in some way,
Yeah,
and I
it is.
appreciate it.
It's
It
helpful.
it very is. It's so much more healing than I ever thought it would be. So I totally agree with you on that. And is there any last little bit of advice you want to say to anybody before I let you go?
Men, talk about your mental health. Ladies, reach out if you ever need anything. Guys, girls, children, I don't care. I'll talk to you about it any day. I'm available 24 hours a day. And don't forget, season 2 starts October 3rd. You're going to see some really interesting things this season. The first two episodes of the season, actually, the second one that was with the man named Julian. We get really deep into my past. So if you all really want to know about Pete, get ready because we're going to get deep into what is about me myself. So.
Oh, I'm gonna be watching that. That's for sure. I'm gonna get right in your brain. But
Right.
anyways, thank you so much for coming on and talking with me today. And I hope that we have given some people some things to chew on, especially when it comes to mental health. And yeah, I appreciate all of the honesty, all of the help you've given me, and behind closed doors that maybe
Yeah,
we
definitely.
haven't talked about, obviously. But thank you so much for everything that you've helped me with, and I appreciate you coming on here and also talking with the viewers, bringing a few things to light that I didn't even think about mental health wise, especially with the video games. So
Hmm.
I appreciate having you on today, and yeah, I hope that you have a good rest of your day.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, and have a good night. Bye, Pete. Hi, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you are struggling with addictions or mental health in Brant County, there are a few resources. But first of all, I would like to say if you are trying to quit drinking and you are a heavy drinker, or if you are trying to quit benzodiazepines, please go to detox or to the emergency because you can have seizures and they can be deadly. So that's something that they don't always tell you, and I thought I should share that. If you are looking to get sober or you are looking for mental health resources, there is the RAM Clinic. They offer any kind of addictions counseling, addictions doctors. They also have a social worker, and they also run, or they don't run, but they also have information about all the other programs in town as well. Then we have SOAR, which also helps with addictions. It helps with finding a job, finding housing, and getting paperwork and all that kind of stuff done as well. Then, if you're looking for clothing or food, there's Nova Vita and there's Friendship House, and there is the Salvation Army. Nova Vita is for women only, obviously, and if you're in a scary situation, please contact them. They will help you out and make sure you're safe. Also, there is the Brant Health and Wellness Center, which does showers for people. They also have pop-up health clinics as well. And there is pantries all over the town and all over the community, I should say, not just the town. And also there is meetings running every single day. There's AA, CR, and NA all day long if you need a meeting. Now, I always like to talk about the different types of ways to find sobriety that we don't always know about because our doctors really don't promote more than the old ways, which is detox, rehab, meetings. So, if you are interested in looking into more, or maybe more of, if you want to get sober and you want to feel that one size doesn't fit all and those don't fit, and you want to find resources that do fit for you, please contact me at jasmineboodle23@hotmail.com, and I can help you find the resources that you need that can be the right fit so you can have freedom in your sobriety. I'd like to burn down the old ways, bring through clinically proven ways that have helped millions of people that are talked about, because I feel like so many times we're scared to get sober because the ways we're told to get sober. So I want to burn that down, and if you would like to hear of some resources, please contact me through the show page or through the email jasmineboodle23@gmail.com. Again, thank you for watching the episode and have a great evening.